Hello Varlets! A new patch has just dropped today for Darktide. This patch mostly contains weapon balancing and bug fixes, and in this video we'll go over some of the key highlights of the patch. First off, the passive Deflector bug on the Deimos and Elise 4 swords has been fixed. No longer will you get a free blessing on your 4 swords, but it was nice while it lasted. While on the topic of 4 swords, the bug which prevented Elise's special attack from activating warp absorption is now fixed. You can now activate your weapon special to chop through enemies for a boost to your toughness in the middle of combat. That being said, they also made it so that all weapon specials that give activated effects like the Thunder Hammer, Chain Weapons and 4 Swords will always stop upon hitting elites, specialists, monsters and captains, regardless of your cleave. While this might be great for everything else, I wonder if this might be a nerf to the Elise then. Moving on, they also shortened the time between firing and loading a special round while ADSing for shotguns. This should make them feel a lot more fluid than before, a most welcome improvement. Speaking of shotguns, apparently there was a bug where the Agrippina's special shot, that's the Slug shotgun, couldn't shoot through thin walls before. I don't know if this was misworded, but if someone can test it out, please let me know in the comments below. Finally, they have fixed the bug where crits on the Flamer and Purgator Staff wouldn't apply the correct amount of stacks on burning enemies. Now, on to some balance changes, and oh boy, the hammer has dropped on a couple of weapons. First of all, the Flamer has been nerfed. It has taken a hit to its mag size and total reserves, and all these number changes basically translates into lowering the armor damage effectiveness across the board, falling off with distance. So while you can still use it to burn through hordes with mixed armor, you'll need to expend more ammo to take them down, and it's much less effective from further away. For Carapace armor in particular, because Chastise the Wicked, that's the Preacher's ult, lowers the armor grade of all enemies by 1, Carapace armor becomes flak armor, and so by lowering the damage against flak, which has taken the largest hit, they've also lowered the effectiveness for creatures to burn crushers instantly. The next weapon to take a hit are the power swords. They've essentially reduced the number of hits per activation from 2 to 1. So now the Vet's power sword is the same as the Elise, and if you have Power Cycler, the blessing gives you an extra 2 hits instead of 3. So if you have a power sword with Power Cycler, you now have 3 hits on activation. Next, both the Thunder Hammers got a small quality of life buff. The stun time after using the special attack has been reduced from 1.1 seconds to 0.6 seconds. It should now feel a lot more responsive than it did before. On top of that, they've increased the headshot and crit damage of the light attacks from 2.5% to 7.5% bonus up to a 15% to 45% bonus. I would wonder if this helps it reach any extra breakpoints. The blessing, Fire Frenzy, where you gain power against nearby enemies for killing them at close range, has also been fixed and buffed. It now caps out at 15% power on a tier 4 blessing and stacks up to 5 times. This is basically the shotgun and ripper gun's version of Slaughterer, and so if you don't have this blessing ready, I highly recommend you get it. In terms of miscellaneous fixes and tweaks, there was a nerf to burn damage overall against flak armor, reducing its effectiveness from 200% to 100%. This is effectively a 50% damage reduction. This is a pretty big oof, especially against the Control Shotgun, which depended on the incendiary rounds to be effective at range. Medical grades now also last for 5 minutes. This makes them a really good anchor or rally point now, where you can go back and forth to heal. Activated power swords now also have the proper finesse boost when you are doing the push attack. And finally, the blessing Surgical got a buff. It now gains stacks much faster, from what was a flat 1 second per stack to now between 0.25 seconds to 0.5 seconds per stack, depending on the weapon. Well, that is all for this patch highlights video. Some welcome fixes and expected nerfs, I guess. I'll have to find some time to check out the changes and see if anything new pops up. Until then, thank you all for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Varlets.